Hi, welcome to Layman's Guide to Cracking the Coding Interview. I'm Jox, and today we're going to be dealing with some of the string manipulation. I think this problem would be fairly simple, but we just need to find the way to crack that. So let's do. So given a string, encoded string, we need to return the decoded form of that string. So say that we have a given as a string S with 3 with a bracket A and 2, and within another square bracket we have a B and C, and we are supposed to return the decoded form of that given input. So in that case we'll have a 3 numbers of A, so we have a, and then 2 numbers of BC, so BC and BC. Same goes for this case, so we have a 3 numbers of AB, A2 and C within this square bracket. See, we have another square bracket within the square bracket, so we need to first decode the internal one. So in this case, first we decode 2C, so that's going to be CC, and then we're going to have a ACC, so that would be a 3 times, so ACC, ACC. So here's the output out there. So this one would be fairly simple as we discussed earlier. So we have a 2 times of ABC and 3 times of C and D, and finally E and F with nothing, and the output would be simply here. So as we can see that whenever we see the open bracket, we need to get the positions, and then once we reach to the closing braces, we need to take the data or take the strings within the square bracket, and then we manipulate as many times as the number given just right in front of the opening square bracket, and based on that we're gonna get the output right here. So I'm gonna show you the small example right here, and then we can get into the program. I have already done that. I'm gonna run and debug later, but for the sake of simplicity I would just like to go. So let's say we have this as an input, and in this case we need to assign the position. So let's say we have a position as -1, and we need to iterate. So actually we need to create a function, but for the sake of simplicity I'm not creating, and this will be kind of a recursive function however, but I'll just call it as a recurve, so just to make it simple. But in my program I have written something else like a decoded string as the name of the function. So here we have a function. Sorry, we don't have a function. I'm just starting right away. So when I sorry for the capitalization, it does automatically in this thing. So when I is 0, it's not open bracket or the close bracket, so we're just gonna ignore. So when I is 1 over here, we're gonna have a open bracket. So when we have an open bracket, in that case we take the position as I, so that's gonna be 1, and then we iterate again to another position, that's gonna be 2, that's A, nothing. So again we have a I as a 3, so in this case we have a closing bracket. So we found this, so at that point we need to do some work right here. So in this case we have a position as 1, so we need to take the value. So value would be the given array from position +1 until I. So in that case this would be A, right? So just to simplify, I'll put it like this, so that this is the value and this is the program. And when you have a value, we need to get the what do you call that, the times as well, like this number. So let's just call it as a times, how many times we need to evaluate that. So I'll put it as a times, and everything's being capitalized. Just understand that's not going to be capital, and I don't want to make that as a capital. It doesn't look nice because we're doing in a Python, so it's a way of doing, however. So let's say the times, it should be integers because it's in a string. So I get the array and then the position and the -1, because position is 1, so if you do -1 it's going to be right in front of the opening braces, so that's going to be 3. And for the simplicity I'll put the value as a 3 here, and then we need some temporary storage to hold the iterated form of that input. So for now it's just empty, and we need to have a for nothing in range, and in that case it's gonna be times. It should be times over here. and everything is capitalizing. Even the for loop shouldn't be a capitalizations. So in that case, we put everything in a temp. So that's going to be the val. So it goes for ones at first. We'll have this a, and when I becomes 1, I becomes 2. So that would be the end. So our temp would be a, right? And we're just gonna return. As I mentioned, I don't have a function. Oops, there's a typo. So I'm just gonna call this as a recursive. So from the given array, I need to replace that section with the temp, right? So I'll just put replace, replace that section. So that section is position -1, because we don't need the numbers again. And from there up to the I, and we're going to be replacing with the temp, right? So once we have this, it will be like this. The array would be AAA, 2, and BC. This would be the input now. So again, we have a position as a -1, and let's iterate. I, when it's 0, it says A, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I is 4, we'll have a position as I, so that's going to be the 4. So I, 0, 1, 2, 3, nothing. And when it's 4, we have the position as a 4, right? And when I would be 5, 5 is B, and 6 is C. Oops, where did it go? Okay. And then when I is 7, we found the closing braces. So we need to put the if statement. I just didn't put that just to show the examples right here. But however, in the program I have that, and I'm gonna show it, and I'm gonna debug that as well. So when I is 7, as we did earlier, we're just gonna call the position +1, because we don't need the braces until here. So this would be B and C, right? And then we need the times again, and in that case it should be position -1, because the position is the braces, -1 is the value, the number, numerical. And again, sorry, we need to put this as an integer, because that's going to be the string, so it's going to be the integer now. And then for nothing in range, we're going to do the range, and we have a times. Just because of the capitalization, it's making a little bit messy. And same thing, and I forgot to put temp. Temp would be blank for now, and temp plus would be val. So in this case, we have a 2 times, so once, twice, that's gonna be the thing, and it's gonna return, right? So when it returns, it's gonna be the same literally. I don't want to write that again. I'm just gonna copy and paste it right here. So, and finally, when this thing's over, when the program doesn't find anything, just want it to increase there, we simply return the array. So in that case, we will have a final output as AAA, BC, BC. So that's going to be the output. It's fairly simple. It's a string manipulations, and in the coding interview, out of 5, at least 1 would be asked. That's the sum of the thought ratio. So anywhere, like in a Google, Facebook, or in Amazon, Microsoft, anywhere, it's going to be 1 out of 5. Because I read that thing and heard from a lot of other people, so I'm just repeating and they're rephrasing the same thing. So let me run the program. So here we have a program. So in this case, we have a given 3A, 2B, and C, right? and we have a function called decode. I just name it as a decode because like in our example here, I didn't name it, so it's good to name, so I just name it as a decode string. And then it's the parameter is a given, this encoded string, so we need to decode that. So we have a preposition, or we could just write a position. I don't know why I wrote the preposition. So then we go to I and the character, because we use the enumerator, and we'll get the value when character is open braces or the square opening braces. In that case, we get the value of the position. If it's a closing, then we get the we do the task, and then we return here. So just let me run this program and we see the output. Okay, we have AAA, BC, and BC as usual, as we mentioned earlier. So I'm just gonna put the debugger. Let me close this. So when it's 0, you can put an I right here. So when I is 0, we have a character as 3, so it does nothing. And we have a I as a 1, so in that case it's open braces, so we have a pre-value as a 1, so it's going to be 1. Now it's going to check whether we have a closing or whether we have an opening. If we have a double opening, we ignore the previous one, we consider the last one, because we first decode the internal section and then we decode the external. So nothing here. So now we found the closing braces at I3. So in that case, we have a val as just a, and we have a times. Where's the times? Okay, I need to compute that. And then we see the times as 3. So now we're gonna have a temp as AAA. So at first just A, second AA. Now we have AAA right here. Then we're done. Then we return. So when you return, the input would be AA to BC as we did earlier. So now we have to wait until 1, 2, 3. So we have to wait until 4. Then we're gonna find the opening square braces. So let's wait for the I. Now we're gonna find that. So we found it at I4. So the preposition would be 4. So we have it 4 right here. So now we're gonna wait until the opening or the closing braces, and here we have a closing braces. We're gonna wait for that. Now we're gonna see that. Since we saw that, so we're gonna have the value as the B and C, and then the number, the times, that is 2, and we just loop through. Okay, we have a BC and BC, and then we return. Now again we're gonna loop through whether we found that or no. So since we didn't find any, we're just gonna return the array. So that would be given would be AAA, BC, and BC. There's a way to do in an optimized way. I done it here, but I'm gonna put this code for the sake of simplicity. But this is not the optimal way to do, because even after we finish calculating everything, we still are checking whether we have it or no until we reach end. There's a better way to do. It's right here. I just commented for the sake of simplicity. Okay, it's gonna return that, and we're gonna print that right here. Sorry, this not here. So it's just gonna be this one, right? AAA, BC. So let's take another example. So that one that has the internal braces. So I'm just gonna copy this, replace this with the given input right here. So in this case, we should have internally we should have ACC. So 3 times of ACC. ACC, ACC, and ACC. Yeah, we do have that. Now let's take a little bit more complicated. It's right over here, like a multiple, square braces inside that another square braces. So here we have a 2AB and 2Z and 3X, and outside that we have a 3 CD EF. So we have a 3 internal braces right here, so this should also be okay. So we do have that. You can check it out if this output is returning true or false. So we could just assume like the most internal section of the string is x, so we should have a 3x. We have that, and then 2 of z and then 3x's. We have a z 3x's, z 3x's, and then we have a 2ab. So ab zxx, and again ab zxx, right? We have 2 sections, and then we have a 3 of cd. So cd, 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 and then finally just a single set of ef. We do have that. So I think that's it. It's quite simple, but not most optimal way, because whenever we finish doing that, it keeps on calling the like a function, recursive function, and we need to make sure that once it's done, the program should know it's done and then should just return that one. But I have it here, but just for the simplicity, I didn't put that. I repeated it a lot. So thank you.